It is Mary.
And Amma.
Be much to like,
share,
subscribe,
and comment
down below, y'all. Today we are going to be talking about Danaya Jackson. She has come out to actually talk about the whole Derrick thing, like their relationship from the beginning, and like what was leading up to the divorce. Very honest, very open.
Yes.
I
love that.
I do love that. I do, however, believe that she actually has quite a bit more healing to do.
She still has some healing to do, but you can tell that she is on her way.
She is working towards
it. Some healing has started already.
Yeah.
You can tell that. And one thing I loved about it was she looked really good. I didn't even know who that was when I saw her. And then it was like that. Then, oh, that's Danaya. Oh my goodness, she looked really good.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love when it's over in a relationship and the woman looks good after that. And I think it's just, and then of course when you hear her story, just that unburdening.
Yeah.
You see, as soon as you leave him, especially someone like him.
Yeah.
With such a, I don't want to say, because some of the stuff he did was just so wicked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some of the stuff is so wicked, and the reason why I say wicked is because he's out there in front of women, giving them advice to the kind of man that they shouldn't be with, and he is that man.
My thing is that Derrick Jackson was never giving advice to other women. He was giving advice to Danaya. Let's just be honest. He actually was giving advice to Danaya.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
What I thought was very interesting was that she said that I think it was in part 2, but like we are talking about part 1 here. But why are you snapping?
Oh, because she's about to jump off the balcony.
Oh. But no, because in part 2, what was it? She had talked about how, there was a time where he had said, let's get divorced or whatever, and she said okay, and then the next day he was like, well, if somebody tells you okay, it's manipulative.
After you made a statement and they say okay, it's manipulative, right?
My thing is, I think everything Derrick was saying, I feel like there was some truth to it, because I feel like he was actually giving Danaya the advice, and basically was telling her, you should not be with me. It's kind of like what TJ Holmes did with that news anchor, where he basically was telling her, like, I've given you so many reasons to leave my fine ass, yet you still stay. Exactly. And it's kind of like Derrick is saying that, look, if he takes a long time to marry you, then he's not the one. Derrick took like almost 9+ years to marry you, and he only married her, I feel, because he had got this platform. And a lot of women will be like, well, how are you giving advice if you were single? Like, I mean, what are you doing out here?
Exactly. And how can you still be with the same woman?
Exactly. You never married her. Because then it kind of exposes him in a way or whatever. But I do think that he was giving Danaya the advice this whole entire time.
You know what was really interesting when she was taught? It was so nice to hear her backstory
about her having abandonment issues.
How they met. Her father died when she was 12. But it seemed as though up until that point they had a very good relationship, her and her dad.
But you said it was kind of rocky. Because it seemed like, the father and the stepmother will always argue, and she seemed like, and she felt like it was because of her, because she was there at the house or whatever. So she always blamed herself. And then he died, so it wasn't like they were able to get super close. Up until that time.
And then she was the
awkward black girl.
Awkward girl, right?
Yeah.
And here is this jock who is fine according to her, right? And it's like, he's paying attention to me.
Yeah, like she leveled up, she upgraded. Look at me getting the hot guy. And that's what she said.
She said she upgraded. It's like the terms that she was using. And even when she said, like, once they were now boyfriend and girlfriend.
She was like, he's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere.
And honestly, it's that thing that, I mean, everybody calls it.
Like, no matter what.
He's not going anywhere. And I feel like that pick-me energy is really a disease, because I feel like a lot of women sometimes do have it. Some women don't. Like, for me and you, I just feel like we're not going to sit down here and do anything and everything to be with a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not going to chase behind a man. Like, it seemed like Danaya kind of went out of her way, like, to really chase him, to really just minimize herself in order to do everything and to just make sure that he stayed. Like, no matter what, even against her mentality, her physical, her emotional health, she put all of that to the side to make sure that he would stay, like, no matter what. Like, I'm going to sit down here. I'm in the rotation. Have 3 abortions for this man. Like, that blew my mind.
You know,
like, that was shocking. And I mean, but I think Derrick probably is forcing other women to have abortions.
It's not just Danaya. Because I'm thinking to myself,
not at all.
You are having unprotected sex. Obviously, so you guys are having unprotected sex.
Obviously, he's doing it with other women.
To believe he's also having unprotected sex with other women.
And she said about 100+ women he has cheated on her, like, throughout, like, since they started dating.
Yeah.
So I know
women.
Reckless. I doubt he's putting on a condom with every woman. No. I don't think so.
So I'm thinking STDs.
She didn't talk about it. I'm sure she has caught something.
She's had STDs because of him.
Because she said she was still having sex with him. And the other women and all of that stuff. Yeah.
Like, it just shows also such a recklessness.
Yeah.
On his part as well.
Yeah.
Like, it shows such a... When I look at Derrick, to me, it seems as though he has a lot of self-loathing.
Yeah.
Self-loathing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when I hear about this reckless way that he's going about it, it just makes me feel like if he hates himself so much, he can't possibly love anybody else.
Yeah.
Including you, Danaya, including his children. Like, you just can't.
Yeah.
When you don't have that self-love, you just cannot. And, oh my goodness, yeah, being in the rotation. Like, I feel
she'll be walking past women.
Yeah. She was just
hallway.
Determined. Like, you're not leaving me. You can have how many mistresses you have, how many girlfriends you have. Yeah. I'm going to be right there, and I'm going to be the last woman standing no matter what. Yeah. So at some point in her mind, it became like this game to her. Like, I'm going to be there as long as I am in that rotation. Yeah. I still have this chance with him.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show him that
I'm loyal.
I'm loyal.
Regardless, you can do everything. You can do everything. You can spit in my food. You can give me STDs, whatever. I can have abortions for you. I'm not going nowhere. But that's the one. That's that desperation. That's that pick me and that honesty. That's why we say on this channel, it's so important not to go and find love when, 1, you're unhealed, and 2, when you are desperate. It's just a bad combination. You're not going to find anyone decent when you are unhealed and when you are desperate.
And unfortunately, she met Derrick
3 weeks after she got raped. Yeah.
So it's like...
It's just sad.
And so the things that she did while she was with him, I wonder who silenced her voice before she got raped. Because she got raped, and she said after the rape, she stayed at the party with the person.
I mean, he wasn't down there, but they were still in the house.
But he was still there. So it was like she was silent. You know what I'm saying? And went on with the silence.
Yeah.
And I just wondered if, as she was growing up, and I'm sure she's unpacking it in therapy. Yeah. As she was growing up, I just wondered who silenced her voice. I also wondered if she had any kind of, she didn't say, but if she had something, some kind of molestation or something that happened to her actually before.
Me personally, I think maybe it's just a young person's thing where it's like, we just don't like confrontation. Yeah. Like, that's true. Literally do not like confrontation. Like, I remember there's this one time, it was here in Tanzania, this guy, I had met him at a beach one day. I had given him my number, because I just give people my number, and I just blocked them later, because I'm like, I don't want to say no, and then there's this whole confrontation or whatever. Yeah. But he saw me on a boda one day, and actually hopped on a boda to follow me.
Which is a motorcycle.
Yes, to actually follow me. And he was like, oh, let's go to the beach, whatever. I was like, oh, yeah, sure. When he went to go get his stuff, I told my border guy to run, to speed away. And we were literally it's not safe. I'm not recommending anyone do this, but literally got into a high speed chase, because he literally was chasing me around Tanzania for a good 30 minutes until we finally actually lost him. But just because I didn't want I just didn't want confrontation. Just because of that. So I feel like, one, her being shy, and her also not being someone who really spoke up or wasn't extroverted, that could have been a thing. And then also not wanting confrontation. I feel like,
and then
girls, we just don't like confrontation, especially when we're in a world where we have men who will go and will shoot you for rejecting them. Like in Atlanta, that happened so many times when I went to college there. So, I mean,
she had three brothers and a sister.
I think that's why.
Which is the same thing with you. We have three brothers and a sister.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you have so many siblings,
you can get lost in the fold.
Exactly. You have some of them who are like the loud ones.
Yeah.
Right? They always get their needs met. And then there's a quiet one who
Yeah.
doesn't get their needs met. And she says she has always been quiet. So maybe she was like the quiet one in this family. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when you're quiet in a family like that, you get overlooked.
And then also she's probably shocked that this has even happened to her.
Yeah, like
so it's kind of like
party.
maybe you're just in shock. Like you just don't know what to do, what to say. Yeah. Some people just kind of go into a
party that her mom did not want her to go to or something.
Yeah, so also that shame. Like, oh my god, mom, this happened, I wasn't supposed to go. Yeah. It's like you don't want to tell anybody. So
it
all
doesn't
of those
necessarily
factors
mean that something happened to her when she was younger, but it just means that youth, shame, and just not haven't learned yet how to speak up for yourself.
But there was literally so many red flags for Derrick. Like he had sex with somebody 2 weeks before the wedding and all that stuff, and that he stayed on his phone even throughout the honeymoon and all this stuff.
And then the other thing, he refused to introduce her to, like, even after they were married. When they went on tour, he refused to introduce her to the women around because he said that he didn't want the ex-mistresses to feel bad or feel sad.
Like she's gonna make the block hot because oh my god, he's committed himself to this woman.
This man
actually did not give a damn about her. They respect her.
And I know she spoke about standards and stuff, and I think the problem that I have with when people say, "Oh, you need to tell people what your expectations are," and blah blah. Listen. You don't need, and I'll just tell women right now, you don't need to tell anyone what your standard is, what you expect from them. You don't. Only you need to know that.
And act accordingly.
And when the person violates it, you don't have to explain to them that the way you treated me is inhumane or it's inappropriate. You just move on. Move the hell on, because why? Listen, if you have to begin to explain to someone how to treat you like a human being, like just a decent person, you don't need to be with that person. Because you got to train them how to behave, what they need to do. They don't know when you're with them. No.
And my thing is, everybody knows from right from wrong. I feel like everybody knows when they do somebody wrong. So you don't have to go and verbalize it. If somebody crosses your boundaries, you act accordingly. You literally teach people how to treat you by the way that you treat yourself. That's it.
They're not in your life anymore.
You just move on.
They're not in your life anymore.
You don't go and talk to them to give them a chance to do wrong or right by you again.
Goodness.
You don't have to do that. So when you do that, when you try to go and talk to somebody about your status, you're actually trying, that you yourself are trying to give them another chance to make things right because you're not ready to leave them. That's all that is. It's nothing about, I'm going to show them how to treat me. You show yourself how to treat yourself and you leave. That's it.
And I'm sorry, I know her family, of course they love her and they were trying to let her know, hey, don't leave now because he's not ready yet, don't leave now. I tell you, even if she stayed away from Derrick for 2 years,
he would divorce her regardless.
That's just an extra time he has to go cheat without her near him.
But that's what Danaya knew. That's why she was ready to go back. Yeah, that's why she went back so quickly. Because she knew, oh my god, I don't want to get too comfortable with me being away. Because Derrick was not sitting down there being all upset, crying because Danaya was not there. He probably had a woman. He probably had 10 different women a day. He was probably enjoying himself. And she knew if I stay away too long, he's going to have too much fun. He's going to realize, well, let me actually just leave her.
Me with somebody else.
Exactly. And that's why she went back.
So she hurried up back.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys don't have to tell no one about your standards, about what your boundary is. And you have to be willing. Even if you got married today and that person is inappropriate with you, humiliates you, disrespects you, it's over. Day one.
Yeah.
Day one.
Don't give
After
chances.
a huge wedding and all the gifts and all the stuff, it's over. Day one. Even if it's before the wedding, just before the wedding, a day before the wedding, all the invitations. Day one. Day one. They disrespect you once, they're going to disrespect you again.
Yeah.
They're not going to get better. when I think about my life, I'm what 50, 51, and I've had friends for over 30 years, over 20 years, and I have never had a friend disrespect me. Like, they have never disrespected me. Anyone who has disrespected me or be inappropriate or treated me badly, guess what? They ain't in my circle at all.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, how much more your spouse?
Yeah.
If your friend wouldn't treat you like shit, why is it that we decide that because I'm married, I'm going to put up with it? What my friends wouldn't do, what my family members wouldn't do, the spouse that I sleep with, though, that's the one, that spouse can do all of these things. And I'm going to stay because it's marriage and it's struggle love and I got a ring.
It made no sense.
Miss me with that.
But yeah, y'all, that was part 1. We're going to get into part 2 and all that bota bata. But let us know down below, what did you guys think of part 1? Like, were you shocked by some of the things that she revealed? And do you agree with me that you think she has more healing to do? Which we're going to get more into that in part 2. Yes. But